You're going to start with these, aren't you? The lemon sponge fingers.
Yes, they are very easy to make and they're absolutely delicious. In one go you make 24, which is a good thing in my opinion.
Actually, you've got 23 there. I had one.
Oh, and you make them all in one tin and you put the sponge mixture at the bottom. Then when they come out of the oven, you ice them in the tin. So you've no sort of drips of icing on your table. It's very easy. So let's make them. And again, it's all in the bowl together, and it's quick.
Saving up for your washing up again.
Oh yes, I'm not very good at washing up. But the main thing is you want to start with soft butter. It's 6 ounces of butter, and I'm using butter because the flavour really comes through. And this is soft butter, and if it isn't soft, you'll have to cream it. So 6 ounces of butter, 6 ounces of caster sugar, 6 ounces of self-raising flour.
You're not sieving that?
No need to sieve flour when it's being beaten a lot like this one is. And then 2 eggs. I don't know what our grandmothers would have thought of a recipe like this, all in the bowl together. I'm sure they thought that it wouldn't work.
And those are standard eggs you said we use in these recipes,
That's
didn't you?
right, standard eggs. So just mix it all together with a fork. Now if you're doing this in a mixer, you'll find that it's best to do it on the slowest speed, and I put a tea cloth over the top of it, because otherwise often if you've got something like flour, it goes all over the floor and it's look at all over me. It's annoying to have to pick it up afterwards.
And can you overbeat it in a mixer, that, if you left it on?
You could do, yes. You want to do it just until it's all well blended together. And there's no need, I think people have associated this way of cooking with doing it with a quick creaming margarine, and there's no reason at all why you shouldn't do it with butter.
You say the flavour comes through in this more than perhaps in the flapjacks, which we're doing later.
Yes, and in flapjacks I'm using margarine because in my flapjack recipe I use brown sugar, and you don't need it. So there we are, that's all well mixed, and then put it into the prepared tin. And I've got a tin here, and it's 13.5 by 9.5, which is a rather big Swiss roll tin, because you make the Swiss roll in it and then roll it up. I've well greased the tin. I've used the butter paper from the butter, but you could use lard, and then I've put a piece of greaseproof paper on top and buttered that. Although this is one of the very nice non-stick tins, it's a gold one, it's precious to me, and when I'm cutting out the fingers at the end, I don't want to mark the tin. That's why I put greased paper in the bottom.
I suppose if you haven't got one that size, you could use 2 smaller ones.
You could, yes. Or you could use half the mixture if you've only got one small one.
Because it's not good to overload the tin.
No. I actually tried this first in a smaller tin, and it boiled over the top, and then it went all over the oven. So we all make mistakes. And the oven, of course, must be level, but most ovens are. But you really shows in a recipe like this because it becomes a thin mixture, and it would really come uneven if the oven was slightly tilted. You get a thin brown end to it.
And you're smooth, sort of levelling that out now.
Yes, if you level it out, main thing is to get it right into the corners. There we are. Now I didn't put the lemon rind in this because I wanted it to be a really quick recipe, but if you wanted an extra lemony flavour and had the time, you could add the lemon rind to it.
Of 1 lemon, presumably.
Of 1 lemon, that's right, because it is the icing is using 1 lemon. And I've already 1 batch of this in the oven, and I'm going to ice it. You bake this at 350. Gas number 4, and it takes about 15 or 20 minutes according to your cooker, just so that when you press the top the mixture comes up again. So let's look at the one in the oven.
It evens out, obviously.
Yes, you don't have to be too particular. This is a lovely big cooker. In fact, I can do 2 of these alongside. There we are. Now that's nice and even, Judith, you see, and the oven is beautifully level, and it's just beginning to go brown around the edges. and as I press it, it begins to spring up again. And you ice this actually as it comes out of the oven. And I'm going to do the icing with the juice of 1 lemon. I've already squeezed the juice out of half, and I'm going to squeeze the juice out of the other half. And then you add to the juice 4 ounces of granulated sugar.
It's sometimes hard to get all the juice right from the edge of the lemon, isn't it? I mean,
Yes, if you warm the lemon slightly, you'll get all the juice out. It's much easier. So there we are, the juice of the lemon, and then stir in 4 ounces of granulated sugar.
it's a handy little container, that, isn't it?
It really is, because again we're trying to save on the washing up. Now there's the lemon juice and sugar together. Don't expect a nice smooth icing, it isn't. It's quite difficult just to spread on. If you haven't a brush, you can always do it with a spoon, and immediately the juice from the lemon runs into the sponge and makes it extra moist. I'm doing this while the mixture is still warm.
So that it does sink down.
Yes.
So,
And it is beautifully lemony, and of course it's almost instant to ice, and the top becomes lovely and crystallized, and then it's beautifully moist from the lemon. Now this cuts into 24, which we've already done here. You cut 3 strips across here, like this. Then if my arithmetic's right, you cut 8 down here.
yes, it is.
And so on,
Even
all
I
the
know
way
that.
along. And it's rather good to make 24 in one batch.
Very good.
There we are. And then just ease those out and put them on a cooling rack, and they're ready to eat.